3, 2, and 1. We are live. Welcome, everyone, to episode 26 of the MMAngst Podcast. I'm your host, as always. It's Ben Cohn, the Jew. Joining me today...
Wow. The Jew? So we're like going to be the Muslim, and then going to be the nothing?
No, let me get to it.
Okay.
Next up, we got Alejandro, the atheist Mexican.
Yes.
And then we got Bilal, the Muslim. The terrorist.
Yeah, I don't think he's a terrorist. He drives very well, I think.
He's not really defending himself, so maybe.
Nah.
He didn't even unmute himself just to say no.
No, he's going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
I know. I'm gonna get the fuck yourself. I'm just waiting. I'm looking at the muted sign, just waiting for it to unmute so that I know he's gonna tell me, Ben, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Ben, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we're good. Now we're ready to start. There wouldn't be an episode without Bilal telling me to go fuck myself in the beginning. All right, we got a shitload to get to today because a lot of shit happened yesterday.
A lot of shit.
A lot of shit. There is definitely some shit that we need to talk about. We're going to talk about the UFC card. We're going to talk about the Bellator card. And we are also going to discuss the upcoming UFC card because I kind of want to talk about Dos Anjos versus Lee. And there's a lot of good shit on that card.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's talk about mental weirdness.
Yeah, we'll get into it. All right. We were all correct picking Jessica Andrade to defeat Rose Namajunas. First of all, Rose, we love you. You're awesome. I mean, you're one of the good ones in the sport. So if you're considering retirement and you have enough money to do it, just do it. Don't. We know, you've talked about your issues with anxiety and how you have some issues, I guess, in the mental aspects because of whatever it might be. Take care of yourself first. You've given enough to us already.
Yep.
If you're happy retiring, please don't hesitate. I hope you have.
I mean, she didn't say retire, but she hinted, and she said I may come back even better later. But it just seemed like at this stage of her career, like what she said reminded me of something I've seen in academics.
Right.
In that, I wrote it on Slack. In that, there's people that can achieve a certain level of performance, quote unquote performance, by engaging in unhealthy habits, and these things that make them quote unquote good have unhealthy consequences in their daily life, be it anxiety or be it whatever. So when they're at the top of their game, they're doing all the shit they need to do. They're going to congresses, they're presenting ideas or whatever in local magazines or publishing a lot of papers in peer-reviewed journals. And then these people crash and burn, and then they come back healthier, but they're not doing the exact same thing, Mm-hmm. So it reminds me a lot of that. Maybe what Rose works at her best when she's at her most pressured, when she's in this fucking boilerplate, but then it kind of sort of dissolves if it keeps going for too long. So her maybe taking a little sabbatical would do good for her. Because this sabbatical that she took, it actually did good for her overall offensive skill sets.
Well, I was gonna say her offensive skill sets looked really, really slick.
Yeah, but the defensive ones were not, because
we're gonna get into the actual. Let me just say this: Rose's offensive skill sets have never really been in question. I think she very much tried to mimic a game plan she's not physically capable of doing.
I'm not sure about that, but we'll see.
Let me go.
Okay.
She, unlike Joanna, who's got another endless gas tank like Jessica, Rose doesn't. She's far less skilled in striking from a technical standpoint in the broader striking realm, then
she lacks a little. She lacks polish in the pocket boxing aspect.
she lacks polish there. She lacks polish in her footwork as well. A lot of what she does
Yes.
is very
Leaning back.
It's not just leaning back. I'm not talking about defensively even. I'm talking about just in her movement alone. She
Yes.
moves way
Yes,
more than she.
It is very. It is not economical.
Correct. So, and Rose is not exactly a cardio machine. Like, she's just not. She's not. When have you ever? She's been outpaced before. She's been outworked.
Well,
she's been outworked before. She can. She can keep a pace if she's in control at all times and isn't being pushed. For example, she dominated Paige for 5 rounds before getting the finish.
The second Joanna fight,
she went 5 rounds to Joanna, but she did kind of have moments where she would slow down and then like get a win back in the beginning of the next round. Heavy Hands was talking about how she like won the first few minutes of I think it was it Phil? It was Phil McKenzie. Shout out to Phil at Evil Greg Jackson on Twitter. Follow him; he's awesome. He was talking about how she would build up a lead in the first 3 minutes and then kind of like and Joanna would come back into it, right? And that's how she kind of conserved energy. Here, she didn't really have a chance. It looks like she kind of tried to do something similar where she built up a really big lead in the beginning and
considerable.
And you saw Jessica starting to adjust and come back with those leg kicks in the clinch. She landed some really good right hook.
I don't think she adjusted.
Yeah, I disagree. She did adjust. We've never seen. When have you seen Jessica Andrade use a leg kick heavy game plan?
Okay, no, that's a different thing. Okay, let me finish.
Okay.
When I say adjust, is that you are doing something and then you change it. I'm gonna make a clear example. No, wait, let me finish. I'm gonna make a clear example. The dreadful Irene Aldana fight, she adjusted at the end. In here, Andrade, she had a game plan, a very clear game plan of kicking the leg and so that she may go inside. She even told Dominic Cruz backstage that she was going to do that. That was the plan.
She literally didn't kick the leg until like 4 minutes in.
No, because she had no choice. She had no way to go in. But that's not an adjustment. Like, they had a plan going into this. Like, she could not implement it because she was getting blasted. But just through sheer repetition and will and withstanding a shit ton of damage, she found herself
aware of the leg kick comments about the game plan. So
no, yes.
To me, it looked like an adjustment. And now that you're telling me that, obviously, it wasn't an adjustment. So now I actually have less faith in Andrade.
Well, everybody called it. If you watch Schwan Humes or you read Jack Slack or anybody else, like, everybody said that for you to get, like, she has a limited tool set. So what she can do to get inside is kick that lead leg because Rose stands. She has a very open stand.
Hold on. You're missing my point. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense that she kicked the leg at the game plan.
No, I know. But my point is that
I had no faith in Andrade's camp. And
well, that's another thing.
Andrade actually made a good decision in cage in real time. Now that you tell me no, her camp planned this with her.
Well, yes, but my point is that you don't need geniuses to come up with this. That's my point. Like, everybody on the MMA like community commentary or whatever, whoever you want to call it, actually predicted that this was her way in, and this was indeed what she tried to do. If she poached the game plan from somebody else, maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but that's what logically you have to do if you have no other tools to get inside. It's just that she took so much damage, but she just kept trucking. And by the end of the first round, like, if you watch the stats, she actually connected on Rose. And since Rose is not doing the kind of movement that Joanna was doing, which is actual proper lateral motion and L steps, like, they're not used often enough in MMA. Like, Justin Poirier uses them, Joanna uses them, and Max uses them, Aldo uses them, and I don't know who else uses them, but properly. Like, but what Rose needed with those long ass legs is to use L steps to get the fucking hell out of dodge and not get boxed in. But she didn't do that. She kept leaning backwards and expending a lot of energy, like this really like non-economic kinematic change that she's accustomed to doing, because since she has long limbs, she has these habits, right? And these habits served her right, because at some point when Andrade is trying to pull her jab or pull her hand, she just kept reading that and fucking firing that jab and kept putting it on her. And frankly, if it had been someone else, she would have knocked her out and she would have looked like $1 million. But Andrade just kept going, doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over again until it worked. And you can say, well, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again when it's not working. But in her case, she just willed it into existence. But that's a bad strategy if you're a limited fighter. But she has this insane durability and this insane physicality. She can enforce it. But pick any other fighter in the division that gets hit with those kind of crisp shots, you're in Foxville. You're KO'd.
Well, I just want to say she was using pivots really, really well.
Until she
but
wasn't.
we discussed this Alejandro and I discussed this offline, but Andrade sort of adjusted by using the left hook and the right low kick to cut off a lateral movement. And at first, the pivots did work, but when she started timing those pivots and landing them, then Rose would start backtracking in a straight line, and that's when Andrade could get the flutters down and enter the clinch.
I was gonna get to that.
So
go ahead.
it's not that she didn't have some lateral movement to answer Andrade, but Andrade found the answer for that day, and it kind of went downhill from there. You could see it slowly going downhill when that appeared towards the end of the first.
The thing is that
I want to point out one of the things. One of the things I was saying when I was like, when you try to mimic a game plan, right? And you
I don't think she was, but
she was. Okay. She really was trying to mimic the outfighting game plan of Joanna, but with bigger power. She was her shots visibly had a way more impact than Joanna's. She didn't mimic the kicking. Obviously, she was using punching more than kicking. No question about that. But overall, it was a in and out, circle out, pivot, escape, get out of the buzzsaw of Andrade. Don't let it get going in the first place. The difference is obviously the depth of skill that Joanna has just due to her experience as an elite striker. So when you get tired, first of all, she doesn't have the gas tank, but even so, when you get tired,
you got hit to the body a lot also in the first round.
Wasn't that much? Not that much.
Just enough.
It was only towards the end. It was only towards the
end. That's
the body shots only started appearing once she got the left hook and right low kick going. And that was in the second round, really.
She landed 5 shots to the body, and I think all of them were in the last 30 seconds.
Yes, but remember this: it took Karolina Kowalkiewicz 2 knees to completely deflate Rose. 2 knees.
Right. So again, I'm just So when you get tired, your technical skills flaws.
Yes, you could see
more.
So you could see her posture breaking in the second round.
You could see when I saw her start backing up in a straight line, hands down, trying to lean back from Andrade's flurries. I started saying oh, it's over. This is it. She's not winning this fight. She's done. Andrade took the assault and broke her.
Yeah. She actually,
I said it in the chat. I'm she's breaking.
Yeah, and that is a technical success for Andrade. For all the
don't get me wrong, Tatiana Suarez is going to Andrade, but
look, Rose got a takedown.
Rose is a really good takedown artist. It's a very underrated skill set of hers, actually.
Yeah, I know, but
I think Andrade was just not ready for that.
Yeah, I know.
With Suarez, she's gonna be throwing a trillion uppercuts. There will be no left hook or right hooks thrown. It'll just be uppercut.
I just imagine her if you, like the size of that number, I just like in my mind, I imagined her literally throwing 1 trillion uppercuts.
It's like when you play someone in UFC 3 online and you get like one takedown on them and they hate takedowns, so they just spam uppercuts and knees, hoping you don't take them down again. So you're just able to jab them from the outside.
No, but
is that?
I don't know if you noticed that I uploaded a couple of videos to Slack of the kind of people that have beat Suarez in wrestling and what it took, and that kind of and the kind of physicality, like it's not like she has never experienced this kind of physicality. She has experienced this kind of physicality before.
But with skill.
But with skill. That's my point. So
we do have to note one thing.
Yes.
And I feel like Bilal's going to go yes, and Alejandro's going to be like, no, because he's too nice about this stuff. Jessica is not a highly skilled fighter.
No, I agree.
Okay, good. Because if she wasn't the utter fucking tank she is, she would be
knocked out.
Good. Like, she would be bad. Like, she would not be in the UFC even, probably.
No. Yeah, look, not being in the UFC is not a bad thing, but I think that she has gotten
an Invicta fighter, probably.
No, she would be an Invicta fighter. But no, I think, dude, Priscilla Cachoeira is going straight to Invicta after this fight. So yeah, she would be an Invicta fighter.
Fair enough.
She has more technical depth than Priscilla Cachoeira, but she's only allowed to get through these places because her durability and her sheer physicality. Her game is extremely limited. Like, I was having this conversation with Bilal, but I'm not sure if I was getting my point across, and Bilal can interject if he wishes. But I feel like Andrade is so limited because their response to what Rose had to offer in order to get inside was a leg kick. Like, think about it. Like, how many ways are there for a shorter person to get inside the reach of a larger person? Well, you have a head kick, you have proper head movement, you have proper footwork, you have double jabs followed by the straight, you have a jab followed by a punch to punch to the body, you have circling, angling around people. There's a lot of tools that infighters need. Like, I'm going to make a comparison. It is very broad comparison, but I'm going to make an association with boxing. In boxing, there is this rock paper scissors game. Yep. Where usually you have the boxer beats the puncher beats the swarmer, and the swarmer beats the boxer, and that's sort of
I know this.
Yeah, that's sort of how it goes.
The boxing trinity.
Yes, and I call it rock paper scissors, but in MMA it's not that simple. But once you have a proper inside game, and you can do a lot of work. And Andrade has a proper inside game for the pace that she pushes. But if she did not have that pace, if she couldn't continue that pace, if she did not have that durability, I'm sorry, like, the skills are not there. And I do worry for her, because you're going to get girls that are going to be watching this fight and be like, oh, so I can just punch her from the outside and she can do anything but kick my leg. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. The disagreement I had with you last night was more that Rose was quote unquote more technical, because she still had a lot of shortcomings, which played into how Andrade managed to clinch up those times.
Agreed.
But yeah,
agreed.
So that was my main gripe with it. But on the flip side, like, I agree that she had no tools to get inside, which is where the style matchup played to Rose's favor, because she had a hell of a lot of range and she had power to back it up, which meant that it was very hard for Andrade to actually get close until, of course, the leg kicks and the left hook, right? But for me, that was the main mode that Rose was taking the first. And that's basically the keys to a success, just that insane range and power.
Yes, I
not necessarily that she was more skilled, because we saw that there were still gaps in Rose that Andrade was able to take advantage of.
But there is one thing to not being technical and another to not being able to employ it, because I don't think that there is an argument that Rose is in general, in the striking sense, more technical in every aspect you can think of. If you ask Rose to fight the fight Andrade fought, let's say you have a fighter that is even longer and rangier than Rose, she's gonna find technical ways to get around these problems better than Andrade would. That's my point. Like,
Are you sure though? Because Rose still lacks an in game. She still lacks a clinch game. She has decent takedowns, but it's not the best. And for outfighters, you need an inside game, whether it be takedowns, clinch, or just a pocket game.
Yes, okay.
That is. Let me finish. That is a requirement for it. That's why you can see Joanna, when she needs close distance, she has that clinch game to follow through with it. When Aldo gets a distance close on him, he can sit down in the pocket and let his defense take care of everything else.
Even Holly Holm had clinch as a safety net.
Yeah, even Holly Holm. Yeah, even she had it there. Rose just doesn't have that, which means that she either has to play an outfighting game, which Joanna let her play in both fights logically. And I'm still mad about that she didn't push the clinch more. But that is my point. If it the reach insulates. Yeah, no, the reach insulates Rose a lot.
But see what I'm trying to say.
That's what.
Yes. Okay.
No. I'm not disagreeing that Rose had the stylistic advantage in this fight.
I know.
What I'm disagreeing with was that she was more technical
afterwards.
Because being an outfighter is really pretty to see, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean you're more technical overall. And
no, I know.
I mean, again, I just can't say that she had large gaps to her own game, which Andrade was able to take advantage of. And it's been like that for quite a while already.
But I don't think you're understanding me. I agree in everything you say, that being an outfighter doesn't mean that you're more technical than an infighter. What I am saying is that in general, in terms of kinematic chains, you're an engineer. I think you must have seen this at some point. The concept of a kinematic chain and how you form a kinematic chain. Like, in terms of pure kinematic chains, think of this thing as like moment transport scheme. Like, you have to transport moment from one place to another, right? In terms of physics, like, Rose is just better technical. Is more technical than Jessica, because Jessica is very, very raw. I am not saying that Rose doesn't have all of the problems that you have cited. What I have saying is that the technical gap is so wide, and that is why Jessica got damaged so much. So
let me put
no. Let me just, can I interject quickly to that thing? But my main point was, like you mentioned, if Andrade wasn't such a tank, she'd struggle a lot, right? But what if you took Rose's range and power away? We've all seen the gaps show countless times, and that range and power insulates her to a very high degree. So if you take that away, would she really be more technical, or would she just have a much better outfighting game?
No, she
at the cost of obviously an infighting game.
You would see more technical fighters still. I am 100% sure. She moves better. She throws punches better. She stands behind. She plants better.
Does she move better though? We've seen that the answer to getting left hooked was to move back in a straight line.
I know,
but the fence isn't there. She has a few good moves like those pivots, but beyond that, it falls apart.
Hold on. Let me interject. First off, I happen to agree with Alejandro that overall, if you took both of their physical tools away, you would see a more technical fighter from Rose Namajunas. That's number one. Number two, with regard to Rose, I think that one of the issues for me with the way she's been trained is that her style is contingent on her power kind of working. The problem is that while she is definitely above average in terms of power for a strawweight,
She's below average in terms of durability.
Well, not that even.
To the body.
Hold on. It's not even just that. She's not one hitter quitter.
No, she's not.
She's just not. Like, yes, she was able to finish Joanna and hurt some of the other women she's fought, but it's not like she's just blasting people out of there. She never did what Jessica did to Kowalkiewicz ever.
Yep.
That I can remember. I think just quickly. She's knocked out Joanna, and that's it. That's her only finish via strikes in her entire career.
Again, it's strawweight, but I hear you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, it's strawweight, but
except that monster that just debuted last night.
Jessica Andrade also, she's not like murdering people left and right with one shot KO. She has a bunch of decisions on her record, but the visual power with which she hits is with her shitty, weird ass punches that she's landing.
Well, let's not call it shitty, but it is very technically.
The cleanest punch she landed in her strawweight run flattened Kowalkiewicz.
Yeah.
Flattened. She flatlined her. And that was the cleanest punch she ever landed. The rest of them are like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 in these crazy exchanges where she's taking steam off her own shots because she's squaring up and just like the women literally are just like, I what the fuck? But the one time she threw a clean punch put her opponent out, and it wasn't like Kowalkiewicz is not someone who doesn't have a chin, right?
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like, wait, I'm going to the bathroom, so you guys keep talking.
That's fine. We're gonna actually just move on from this fight anyway. But anybody who's calling that win a fluke,
no, it's not a fluke.
Learn how to watch fights. I'm not trying to be an elitist dick. I'm saying if you
did anyone think it was a fluke?
Yeah, tons of people go on Bloody Elbow. And Twitter.
Oh my God.
There are a lot of people saying fluke.
I'm going to the bathroom now. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, she slammed her like 3 times in 7 minutes. Like that, the finish itself might be low probability, but like Rose is getting slammed repeatedly. If you get slammed enough times, one is eventually gonna, be very bad for your health. What, did both of you just go to the bathroom now?
Oh, I muted myself accidentally. I was wondering why I couldn't hear me.
Oh.
I was saying, like, first of all, that's the third
dumbass.
time. No, I think I don't know what happened. I didn't click anything. I wasn't even in the Google Hangout. Either way, so like it was the third slam. Rose reacted to all 3 of them exactly the same. The Kimura worked the first time, so she's like, I'm gonna keep doing this. And then it got her knocked out. That's like saying when Gerald Harris slams somebody and they get knocked out, it's a fluke. No, like if the guy is known for being, if the guy is known for slamming his opponents and knocking him the fuck out.
Okay, I'm back. Are we just talking about the fluke?
Yes. Well, hold on. So there's that. Secondly, we saw Rose wilting. We saw her, she was getting clocked clean.
Yes, the physical effect of being hit shows.
Saw Rose getting,
the momentum had shifted. It was obvious.
Right. It was, So whoever says it was a fluke, check your bias at the door. Go watch the fight without commentary.
The commentary wasn't good.
I've been saying forever, Cruz and DC are not good. They're not good.
Look,
well,
I like them both.
I have sort of less criticism for DC because even though he's supposed to be this wrestling dictionary, he seems to want to play the Goldberg archetype where everything is hyped up, whereas Cruz wants to play I'm gonna explain everything that's happening in extreme detail. But I've had this issue a few times with Cruz especially, where if someone does something that he wouldn't do, he just straight up goes, oh no, that won't work, or no, or the other person is letting it happen.
Yes,
it's like, no, they're not letting it happen. That is success. Like, stop thinking of it in terms of your own style and start thinking in terms of what's working.
Bilal, you are so correct that go watch the fight. Just before Andrade picks Rose and slams her, Cruz is literally saying it will never happen. This will not work. Literally, as it is happening. As it is happening, he's saying that the whole thing will not work because of she has the Kimura hold and whatever. Then DC explains why it actually worked, right? But he's saying he is literally saying this will not work. I have the fight right here. Like I'm not gonna put it on because I don't want us to get sued, even with audio. But he literally said that it will not work, and then it works.
Yeah, and then he tried like changing it like afterwards. It was... Anyway, we're moving on. We're going to talk very briefly about Cannonier Silva. There's not really that much to talk about.
Sadness.
Apparently, Silva had an injured knee beforehand, and Cannonier said, "I'm going to kick his legs," and then he did, and then Silva went down. That's really it.
The crowd was really shitty to him.
Yeah, fuck that crowd. Fuck that crowd so hard. Like, I get it.
He was really classy
about nothing to deserve that. Like, the crowd was just the fucking worst with that. Like, I get it. They always cheer their people, and I get it. That's fine. I
get homerism, man. Like, but you don't do that.
With that. Like, but like he did not. It's not like he was disrespectful. It's not like he intentionally injured Silva. Like, oh, I fucking like I cranked the leg lock way harder than I did. Like, no, he fucking kicked his leg and Silva's knee went out. Like, it's not like Silva was saying "fuck you." Silva was super respectful to him.
Also, I want to point out he was winning until that leg thing happened.
Okay.
It wasn't a freak accident where Cannonier was losing the entire fight and then Silva's leg gave out.
Right.
He was winning.
Right. I want to get to Volkanovski Aldo, though. I want to get to Volkanovski Aldo because I have...
Volkanovski had an amazing...
I deserve this moment. And secondly...
You deserve this moment. Get out the loop.
First of all, you don't deserve this moment. You and no one else predicted that Volkanovski would just stand on the outside and leg kick for like 80% of the fight. So shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna
shut the fuck up
from this.
No, shut the fuck up and go fuck yourself.
Guys, just fuck.
I am going to now talk because you both picked him, and I'm going to talk. The first thing I want to comment has nothing to do with the fight itself. I mean, it does, but it has something to do with some comments I was seeing. A lot of people were like, man, Aldo just didn't look himself. He's not the same person that he was a few fights ago.
He was.
Like, fuck that noise. Every time somebody is expected, like, what the fuck? Literally for 2 fights, he fucking TKO'd both his opponents, one in the first and one in the second, and he just floored them. It's such bullshit. This happens every time. Every fucking time a legend or an amazing fighter is like, he just doesn't have that fire anymore. Bitch, he just knocked out his last 2 opponents. Fuck off. Give the fucking new guy their props. Like, it's such nonsense. It's ridiculous. And it pisses me off because, like, this is the reason why we never see, like, oh man, how do you make a star? Like, instead of fucking hyping up the dude who just beat clean, outstruck one of the greatest strikers in MMA history. Instead of just giving them their due, they just talk shit about them and downplay it. Man, Aldo just wasn't himself that night. Or maybe Volkanovski came out and outstruck Aldo using a leg kick heavy game plan, and Aldo didn't know what the fuck was going on because he expected him to maybe, I don't know, do what he does in every fucking fight, which is pressure. And the fact that Volkanovski was not only not pressuring, here's how I know Aldo was confused. He came out and immediately took the center of the cage. Volkanovski did not meet him, and Aldo didn't keep pressing. He just stood there, confused, waiting. Because he expected to come at him like a bat out of hell, and when he didn't, Aldo did not have a backup. And it's a problem because Aldo, one of the greatest strikers, like I said, in MMA history, should have a backup plan when it comes to striking.
So I have a theory of why Aldo ended up not wanting to push the action as much, because in rounds 2 and 3, when he did start pressuring more, Volkanovski clinched him and just like out horsepowered him towards the fence and held him there.
Which is
And
in and of itself.
yeah, which is
nuts.
that's a great accomplishment. But like Aldo didn't want that to happen, so he kept waiting to counter, and Volkanovski then just kept kicking him in the leg. And
we all just
Aldo has kind of Aldo.
we all do that.
Yeah, no. I will give him his due. I just wanted to say this last thing here is that, like, everyone keeps thinking of, you know, Aldo's WEC run where he was a great kicker, but after a few fights in the UFC, he started changing his style less so to be less of a Dutch kickboxing style and more of a boxing style.
Absolutely.
Because they are going to be defensive. They are going to be defensive flaws if you come out like a Dutch kickboxer, just because of how you need to keep your feet. Whereas if you're trying to box more often, you tend to keep them more planted so that you can then move your head a lot more easily. And that served him really well against guys who pressure him and, you know, want to throw hands. But we kind of see the flip side where if you abandon a Dutch kickboxing style, then someone can just kick you in the leg over and over again. And it becomes harder to respond as the fight goes on, because you need to then either change your stance and the entire way you fight, like on a dime, or you're just going to get your leg kicked out and then you don't want to move as much.
Yep.
So it's like a lose-lose on both fronts.
And in addition, what we did see was also by the third round, Volkanovski was employing his usual pressure style. And that's what like Aldo had a visible size advantage. Like he looked about you could convince me this was a featherweight moving up to lightweight just from the size perspective. And Volkanovski just completely outmuscled him. Completely. And in addition, we saw Volkanovski landing the much better punches to the head by round 3. Everything is Volkanovski. We saw that pressure by the end. We saw the strength in the clinch. We saw the big punches landing.
And we saw some decent kickboxing.
We saw the cutting off of the cage, which we've never seen happen to Aldo before that I could think of. And we saw new wrinkles to his game. We saw him we saw him employ new tools. I don't know if they're new wrinkles, like he just learned them. I think it looks like he's had these tools in his back pocket the whole time.
Yeah, because you cannot just learn from one camp to the other.
Correct.
They were there. But
he, which means Volkanovski is even better than we realized.
Yeah,
well, no, it just means that you were wrong about him being a classic wrestle boxer, and we were right about him being more of a kickboxer.
I never said he was classic in any sense of the word. I literally never said he was a classic.
You're like he comes out, he wants a level change, take you to the ground and stuff. And then Andre and I were like, he's a kickboxer who likes to pressure into the clinch.
You did not say he can outside fight ever. You never once said, oh, he's a kickboxer who could fight on the outside for an entire round with Jose Aldo.
We were closer to the truth, dumbass.
First of all, I said he could kick no problem, and I've always said he could kick.
I never said he can't kick. I just said he was more of a kickboxer.
Hold on a second. I never said you didn't. I said he's a classic wrestle boxer type with kicks, just like Johnny Hendricks was a classic wrestle boxer, but with
he wasn't.
Kicks. Hold on a second.
Johnny Hendricks fought like a Dutch stylist.
Oh my God! But he still wanted to stop. He still.
Okay, wait. Before we spiral into argument, there's one more thing I want to say. This fight actually gave me this fight.
Mute you.
Fuck you.
There you. You guys, you should.
I wanted this.
Some hot aspects. Some butt.
I want to say. Stop talking, Alejandro. I would say fucking professionals up in here.
Why are you always fighting over Volkanovski? Like, it's amusing and endearing, and it's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. I like every time
he wants to be right, but he picked Aldo, so he doesn't get to fucking argue.
No, we're wrong. We were wrong. It's fine.
Everyone was wrong about how this fight went, Ben. But what I wanted to say was it reminded me a little. It reminded me a little bit of Lawler versus Woodley, because after both Lawler and Aldo realized that they could just get completely outmuscled and neutralized in the clinch at the fence, they were like, "Nope, I'm not standing in the pocket of this guy. I'm gonna keep my distance and not throw anything." And then, yeah, at least we didn't see Aldo get like clean KO'd. But
yeah, I'm happy about that.
Like that sort of overpowering clinch game is really demoralizing. Like they did not want to be anywhere within grabbing distance.
Yeah. Aldo, I think he has one fight left on his contract, so I would like to see him fight Zabit.
Yeah.
So that we can.
Jair.
I want to just end that hype train so bad, so that people would just realize that Volkanovski is the better fighter.
He comes back to Volkanovski. Okay.
And give Volkanovski his title shot, because I honestly think he beats Max.
Yeah, there's a good chance. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but if he can keep that pace, and we know he can, and he can be patient, which we know he can, then he beats Max.
I think he's gonna be matched with Max, and I think he's gonna beat him, and everyone's gonna pick against him again, and I'm gonna pick it with him, and I'm just gonna get to gloat
and bring out the lube and do the rest.
Yeah.
So fuck off. This is the first time I picked against Volkanovski.
Yeah.
I'm at least like a lieutenant of. I'm at least like a lieutenant to something.
You're a fair weather Volkanovski fan.
Look, you get to dress as a sailor, and you get to dress as a policeman, and everybody wins.
What is that? Seriously though, what's next for Aldo? Who do you think he's gonna fight?
I want him to fight Yair for some reason.
He's gonna
just say Zabit. Just say Zabit.
No. I mean, I think
Yair get killed.
No, because I think that if Yair just spams leg kicks from afar, Aldo might not reach him.
Yeah, no. He's gonna throw some spinning shit and get knocked out.
I know. I mean, but if he just spams leg kicks, he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna spam. Like, look, we know for sure Volkanovski is a very patient person when he needs to be. So I want to discover that Yair has it in him to not start spinning when he doesn't have to. Like, just kick his leg. Kick his leg to victory and glory forever.
I do want to point out Yair's leg kicks are nowhere near as impactful as Volkanovski's looked.
Yeah, but Yair can throw like 50 of those. Volkanovski doesn't.
Doesn't need to. Okay. Anyway, we're moving on. Volky, my boy, I love you.
Wait, you don't think Volkanovski could throw like 50 of those? Like, he has one of the highest pace in the division.
No, I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying he doesn't have to.
No, I'm talking to Alejandro.
Oh, right.
If he wanted to, he could throw 100 of those.
Yeah,
I have all the faith that he wouldn't guess.
He just doesn't.
He can't throw like that. He's not a taekwondo guy. He cannot do it. Stop lying.
In all seriousness, though, like, one thing I'm really enjoying, and Bilal, I'm fucking around a lot, but I know for you, it's the same for you also. Seeing Volkanovski be the guy who's just plugging away and clearly proving to have been the best prospect over guys like Yair and Zabit. No offense, Alejandro, I'm saying over the flashy ones.
No, it's
over
true.
the flashy ones.
I still love Yair. He's better than you. Shut up. But I get you.
It's such
the guy who comes from Taekwondo.
Yeah.
A guy who comes from Taekwondo, a sport where leg kicks aren't allowed, is going to be the better leg kicker.
Yeah.
Like, but it's great because it's like the guy who's like the meat and potatoes, I'm just gonna fucking win. It's so much more fun being on the hype train of the guy who's clearly the better fighter, but nobody acknowledges up until recently because he just.
It's true. Why would never acknowledge the guy?
Not you. I'm talking about.
No, I know. I'm just speaking in general.
Nobody talks about Volkanovski in the same way that guys like Zabit are talked about. That's just true.
But he's more fun than Zabit.
I agree because he doesn't gas in a round and a half.
Poor Zabit. Fucking
Anyway,
move
let's move
up.
on. Thiago Alves.
Yeah,
unanimous decision.
Yeah, I don't care
What?
about that. I didn't watch it. I was watching Bellator. Oh God, Bellator.
But wait, just to go back, Ben, do you remember when everyone was picking Mendes over Volkanovski?
Yeah.
Like everyone.
Yeah.
We
And
didn't.
I think it was just like you, me, and like two other people on Twitter were like, nope, I think Volkanovski has the right style to beat him.
I think I picked Volkanovski. Did I? Or did I pick Mendes? I think I picked Volkanovski.
You picked Volkanovski. No, we're talking about like in general, not you. You did. I think you ended up picking Volkanovski as well. You hedged very hard with like but Mendes might knock him out.
And he landed.
You guys are aware, the only person on the Bloody Elbow staff to pick Volkanovski was Steffi. So we love you, Steph.
She rolls. You're the winner, Steph.
Yep. Everybody picked Jose Aldo. Hey, Vic, you picked Jose Aldo by TKO.
You asshole.
No, I love Vic. I actually like Vic is actually one of our biggest supporters. So and he's just a great dude. We've been friends for a while. So
Yeah, he's good guy.
love Vic.
Good guy.
All right. Yeah, Alves looked like not good against Laureano Staropoli. I don't.
The guy that did not look at all like Carlos Condit.
Yeah, he really didn't look like Carlos Condit. Aldana beats Besh Correa by submission. Apparently, she was up on both judges' scorecards, which was
which is wrong.
Yeah.
I have comments on this fight.
What?
Because I had thoughts on this fight.
We don't have enough time. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's gonna be quick. Aldana said she was too nervous when coming into this fight. Like she even acknowledges that her performance wasn't good.
Because it wasn't.
And that it wasn't. The third round was good, but the overall it wasn't. And she said that she was scared of coming to Brazil because she had a bad experience before.
Okay.
Where she got TKO'd. So she was apparently terrified. And then she was angry because apparently Betch had no reason not to miss weight. She just didn't want to miss weight. Like no doctor note, nothing. She was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna make weight. But so good for her. I mean,
thick as fuck.
Yeah, no, she says that she was visibly taken aback by the size difference.
Because it was a massive size difference. All right, we're gonna move on. We got to move on. Ryan Spann defeated Lil Nog by KO by simply just not being a million years old.
Wait, when did Brian Stan start fighting again?
I do want to point out really quickly. I like Kurt Holloway, so to see him such a shit, like it was such a bad game. Like the dude is like getting out grappled and from the clinch, and
I didn't even know what was rooting for him. I didn't know who he was, but I was rooting.
He's the guy who just fought Shane Burgos, knocked him down, and then got.
Dude, I forget about these guys, but I just looked at him losing and trying so hard, and I just got so into the fight, like go hologram, go, because I forgot his last name.
And Thiago Moses looks really, really good, so I'm looking forward.
Yeah, actually, he's good.
Yeah,
and it was just like, oh no, hologram is getting his ass kicked. I don't like it. And I ended up sad, like fuck. If Aldana lost that night.
No, stop. You can't ramble right now.
Okay, fuck.
Alves murdered Mirage. There's no other way of putting that. Sergio would kind of be losing it, so I wouldn't mind seeing him like retire maybe. Clay Guida, speaking of people who need to retire, Clay Guida gave BJ Penn his 7th loss in a row, which is like
BJ made history again. In the bad way.
Breaking records always legend.
I mean, I don't want to say bad things about people, but apparently, like you it's like there's this thing where you shouldn't tell people when to retire, and then there's BJ Penn. We should retire. Like, just don't do it anymore. Go enjoy your millions. Be a fucking hero forever.
He's not a hero at this point, considering the legal issues. All right,
yeah.
We're gonna move on from the card.
Yeah, well, BJ should be happy that he got booked with Guido also, because like Clay was rocking him and then instantly just ended up clinching him again. And like I was shouting at my TV, just like continue punching, Don't worry about the
really
fucking takedown. Just like
Clay
punch
Guida,
him.
It's really weird because Clay Guida, for some reason, in those last like 4 or 5 fights, has been a fucking power puncher, and I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense.
MMA doesn't make any sense, man.
That's
like,
true. But like, do you remember when he just murdered Joe Lozon, and then
I don't want to think about that. It made me sad.
It was crazy. Like, he fucking murdered him.
Yeah.
And then in his next fight, he took a murderous beating from Chris Grutzmacher, but he didn't go out. But Clay Guida put him out in less than a minute or whatever it was. All right, Bellator, real quick.
Yeah, beautiful Bellator.
Patricio Pitbull Friere TKO'd Michael Chandler in a minute. Anybody say that was a bad stoppage really needs to just
relax. It was fair.
He was out. Fair. He woke Michael Chandler up from unconsciousness with punches. So just stop.
Yeah.
I kind of wasn't surprised. I didn't really talk about this fight beforehand just because I kind of was just like not.
Because I don't care.
No, it's not that I didn't care. It's just like I just didn't really we didn't have time. We didn't talk about
it. Do we know why they hate each other? I don't know why they hate each other. Like, it was like legit
beef with everybody, so whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Did Michael Chandler beat up his brother and then he went up in weight and then beat him up or something?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, he did beat brother. He did beat.
There's like a whole soap opera.
He did. He beat Patricio Friere by KO in 2016.
Oh.
So
right.
Yeah, he like knocked him out in the first round. So Michael Chandler for a while is kind of like he's only lost to Brent Primus by that TKO by leg injury, but people are kind of forgetting that he's been really physically kind of like compromised for a while. He gets injured in every fight. He seems to get hurt a lot. His chin, his durability. The dude's not young. He's 30. I'm sorry, he is young. He's 33, but I'm talking about in fight years.
No, yeah, 5 years.
For a decade, he's had some wars. The dude's eaten some big shots. So to see him get clocked like that and dropped by a smaller, faster guy who also just has great power as well is not surprising. I was talking about it with Schwan Humes, but good job for Pitbull. And the dude's like never gets enough props, but he honestly is probably a top 10 featherweight, period. So I would really probably never going to come to the UFC, but I would have loved to see him come to the UFC.
Yeah.
Douglas Lima showed us.
Yes, thank you.
Like leg kicks.
Absurdity.
The guy's got a longer stance than half the octagon, and he's the first person to fight him.
What I love about this year has been kind of like, you know, people like, oh, I'm going to get into boxing and shit. And then all of a sudden we're like, leg kicks, they work. Remember? Like,
I love
how do they work?
This fight is so like the microcosm of MMA. Like, first they meet in the middle and someone starts dancing and doing weird shit, and the other party is like, what are you doing? I am confused. I'm not gonna do anything. Then he keeps dancing and doing strange things, and he's like, what are you doing? I am confused. I'm not gonna do anything. And then he keeps dancing some more, and he's like, I'm going to try a takedown. And he takes him down, and then nobody does anything.
Well, no, he did like kick him like 4 or 5 times before that takedown.
Yeah, I missed that because I was laughing so much.
So he leg kicked him a couple times, then he shot the takedown. I want to give MVP a little bit of props. Lima is solid on top, and he completely shut him down from the guard.
Yeah, he's like a better
the wrist control he was showing was actually really, really, really good. So
yes, that and the daily fight lead me to believe that he's a much better grappler than we gave him credit for.
Right. Well, I think a lot of daily fight has to do with daily being not a good grappler, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, but that we gave him credit for. But then
and he did wobble Lima briefly before the knockout.
Yes, but it was amazing that I don't know if you remember, like when we were typing in Slack, like I thought he literally shot for a takedown, but he didn't.
I was like, he didn't shoot for a takedown. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
No, but he got kicked so hard that it looked
like it. Yeah.
Like he shot for a takedown.
I realized afterwards you were talking about. I was like, made me laugh. I thought it was very funny that you're like, he shot for a takedown. I'm like, no, he didn't. Oh, he looked.
Dude, you're not a wrestler. What are you doing? And then it was the replay. Oh shit! He just got kicked so fucking hard. He literally ended up in like a takedown pose. Like it looked like he was trying to grab his leg, and then boom comes the headshot, and then he just goes limp, like blah. And that made me laugh so much.
He was
like,
funny. And listen, that knockout was quite literally comical. Like it was a comical knockout.
It was absurd.
Like it's like basic ass MMA and jiu-jitsu. Like, hey, like that's like the first lesson of jiu-jitsu self-defense kind of stuff that they teach you, where it's like if you're in range of getting hit, don't get up yet. And he got up right in front, and Lima's just like, I'm gonna hit you in the face, like right now, and it's not gonna be good for you.
I mean, what goes through your mind? Like how you can train your body in so many different ways and your mind in so many different ways, but
so bad,
when someone kicks your leg, like literally across your body, and you fall to the side, like I'm assuming that maybe that just sort of vanishes, and you just want to get the fuck away however you can, and the first thing that comes to your mind is like getting up, which was a bad choice, and then lights out.
Yeah,
it looked like a cartoon. It looked like a later Looney Tunes cartoon.
Where we actually get to say for real, MVP got exposed. Moving on, we're gonna
by a really good fighter. By the way,
we gotta move on. Moving on, we got to talk really briefly about AJ McGee defeating Pat Curran. Pat Curran does not get his due as a really good fighter, in my opinion.
Yep.
And to see McGee completely shut him out was really impressive. I don't know how much you guys follow McGee, but he's 14-0.
No, he's good.
He's not. His skills are not great, but he's only been fighting for 4 years and he's 24 years old.
Good, not great, good.
His athletic ability is off the charts. He trains right now with his father, and he trains out of Body Shop Fitness with Bubba Jenkins and Emmanuel Newton, apparently. I would like to see him move to a real camp or a bigger camp.
That's a real camp.
It is. I don't think he's going to reach his potential there.
Well, we don't know that.
I feel like I know that. Sorry. I really think you will.
You dipshit. You don't know that.
Yeah. Because when I think of high level elite camps, I think of Bubba fucking Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, well, maybe it has more to do with the overall meta game of MMA, but I think that we might be reaching the point of limited returns sooner than we expected. So the next few years are going to be interesting because it took the boxing a long time before it reached its moment of limited returns.
There's not enough money yet. It's not.
I know, but the training techniques, all these things that are already starting to diffuse through the sample size of people practicing MMA, it's starting to happen. Like you're going to see a new camp suddenly pop up out of nowhere. Like I wouldn't be surprised if these Body Shop people end up having Bellator champs and like runner-ups in the UFC sometime soon. Not soon, but in the next 5 years or so.
Yep.
Anyways,
Jake Hager, you're an asshole. That's it. You don't get much more than that. Sorry.
No, I didn't watch the fight.
He's just an asshole. He held on to the choke for too long for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I haven't seen why would anyone do that.
Then cut the dumb promo of like I'm hard with emotion. Like fuck off. He's too. I would not mind. Like at first, I was like, yeah, they're matching up well. Like this is what you expect from a guy who doesn't have any experience and is 30-something years old, like late 30s. But I honestly don't mind seeing him get matched up with some dude who will fuck him up at this point. So.
Yeah, apparently he's not a very nice person.
Nope. All right. Moving on. Dos Anjos, Kevin Lee, welterweight next week. Whoa, what do you see? Because we know that Lee moving. First of all, why are they matching up Lee with a former lightweight? That defeats the purpose of people move. Like I don't understand that kind of matchup, but I digress.
No, it makes sense if you want to see where Kevin Lee is at because he struggled with Iaquinta at featherweight, at lightweight. So now he's fighting a blown up lightweight at welterweight. So it's kind of like as safe a fight as you can give him at the level that he's at.
It only makes sense if you're talking about them trying to get Kevin Lee to get over.
No, it makes sense if you're thinking, okay, I am Kevin Lee. I want to beat a former lightweight champion to get my name out there. But that lightweight is at 170, so I don't have to worry about the weight cut.
Yes, I mean, he can. It's his chance to redo things against a better fighter and seeing if he has the tools.
Can I just say actually Quinta would get murdered by RDA?
Yes,
right.
But we're talking Kevin Lee here.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm very curious to see how this matchup plays out because RDA.
Yeah, because of the wrestling.
RDA does have a problem with wrestlers, like strong wrestlers. But they also tend to be guys who wrestle him using pressure.
Yes.
And pace. Like
Kevin Lee does not.
It can't be understated that okay, T-Bow didn't really have a pace, but it was
way back.
But Khabib, Usman, Usman and Covington are all known for their pace.
He never faced Khabib.
No, RDA fought Khabib.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're going way back. Okay, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's not even that way back. It was in the middle of his championship run.
It was in 2014. That's pretty far back, man.
Yeah, but 2015, 2016 is when he won it. I think beginning of 2016 is when he won the championship.
I think, but I'm saying that. But look at all 5 of his losses after he went on his fucking tear. All 5 of his losses, minus the Eddie Alvarez one, were insane paces. Ferguson, Colby, Usman, or Khabib. Usman wasn't a crazy pace, but it was a lot.
No, he puts on a pace, but it's not a striking pace.
Correct. It's a wrestling pace. I think that's important to know. It's the combination of pressure, pace, and wrestling is generally a factor there.
So the thing is whether Kevin Lee can do that.
No. The only time I
ever your answer.
Crazy pace was Edson Barboza, who had nothing for him.
Because he also Kevin Lee did not make weight for that fight.
Really?
Yeah, he did not.
He didn't make weight.
How much?
Also,
it makes a difference.
I want to say one more thing quickly.
Pound. He missed weight by 1 pound, which means he did try. So I don't usually consider those the type of weight cuts that are beneficial necessarily.
Yes, I know, but when you blow it up, that adds up. It counts for a little bit. Maybe because fucking boxing, but even 2 pounds, 1 pound or 2 pounds can make a hell of a difference.
Boxing is a lot different. You're not cutting.
Yes, but we are talking grappling here,
but mostly it was 1 pound, which means he did cut the enormous amount of weight. He didn't stop at 162, which is a huge advantage.
I know, but still, a pound is a pound. He did not make weight.
Okay, enough talking about pounds. Use the metric system like real civilized people, okay?
Anyway, move on.
Okay, but what I wanted to say was that Kevin Lee sort of has a version of Rockhold's game where his actual wrestling game isn't that deep when it comes to distance. I mean, he can kind of explode forward and then overpower you towards the fence. But he doesn't have a lot of open range tools.
That's true.
In the wrestling department. His main game.
It's just a really athletic shot.
Yeah, his main weapon is when he gets to the ground. He's really good taking the back or mount and dealing damage from there. But he's not that deep of a wrestler when you compare him to the people Arya has been losing to recently.
No question. He's definitely not on their level. And he also is not a very good pressure fighter necessarily.
No, he's not a good pressure fighter, period.
Yeah. So, he has it in him, but
not in striking. He
still seems to not be sure where he's at. And which makes
sense. He's in a developmental phase. He's in a developmental phase.
6, 7 years. He should be coming into his prime now. But
it makes sense. It's not a bad thing.
But he does need to kind of start now, though. He's 7.
Yeah, and also because his game is very reliant on 1 or 2 shots at a time. As much as you want to criticize Khabib's actual striking technique, when he wants to, he does put the pace, even though it's wild, even if it's wild. Same with Usman. With Kevin Lee, it's 1 or 2 shots at a time, and then it's like, okay, we are resetting now. You are not throwing back. And where we've seen him struggle has been against Ferguson and Al, when they're like, no, fuck you. You're not taking a break. I'm going to immediately answer back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he just doesn't have the gas tank to do so. We might see that change at 170.
I hope so, but
but he's definitely not going to be able to match RDA's pace.
No, he won't. But the thing is that Kevin Lee has kind of been thrown to the wolves. I mean,
yes,
he's in the developmental phase in his career. So all these losses that he's taking, that he's learning from, we have to factor in against whom, right? Like
I mean, Al isn't the veteran by any chance. He was actually on Lee's same developmental path, but then he took a long layoff while Lee stayed busy plugging away. That was the major difference between the two.
Yeah, but my point is that he's not. I don't want this to sound bad, right? But he is not who they're trying to make him out to be. He is still very much in that early developmental phase.
But he can't be in his early developmental phase. He's 7 years in. He's got to
move on. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what this fight is for.
I don't think it's going to change from one fight to the next.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm still a big Kevin Lee fan. Like, I like him a lot, but I think he's been insulated a lot by his athleticism.
Trains at
because
Green Couture?
Yeah. Wow. Well, no, they have been putting decent fighters out for a while now. Really? He just seems to be, not great, but like really solid, decent fighters.
No, but the thing with Kevin Lee.
But let me finish. I think he's been insulated by his athleticism a lot, because he can steamroll guys in like the lower 10 to 15 range, no problem. And then when he gets up to the elite, where all of a sudden you have people who can match his athleticism in one way or another, or offer him an answer to it, he struggles a lot. But when you move him back down to guys who don't have an answer for his athleticism, and then he has no problem again. So he's sort of stuck in that Mike Perry catch-22, where there is no way for him to actually learning it better, unless he's taking a lot of losses and he has to reevaluate his game.
And also, let's factor the fact that he has been working at a handicap for most of his career at 155.
No, like I don't give fighters passes on that. If you
do.
Also, you want to cut amounts of weight, don't fucking do it. Sorry.
But that's
he started.
You could say, "Let me finish." I know what you're gonna say, but
you don't know.
No. I'm siding with Alejandro here, because he started his career very young, and a lot of the times when we see fighters start young, they will cut to a division which is safe. But then as the years go by, they put on more muscle and it becomes harder to make that weight. But because they've already had progress in that division, they are very hesitant to move up. So they just sort of, keep getting harder weight cuts as time goes on.
Yes, and they also do not progress technically. Because
they're spending all their time cutting weight.
Yeah, and that's their fault. But what I'm saying is that I'm putting it in context. If you want to take that and say, fuck Kevin Lee because he's making bad choices, well, that's fair.
I'm not saying fuck Kevin Lee. I'm not saying I don't care. Of course, I just hate the concept of the weight cutting that we see today. And we already know.
I know.
What I'm saying is that we have more than enough examples of fighters moving up to have success in weight classes above theirs. And we have more than enough examples of how bad and dangerous weight cutting is for me to just start excusing fighters at this point and say,
no, it's not about excusing.
Listen. All right. Like it's enough. Like we have already multiple organizations that have put weight cutting procedures in place that limit the amount of weight they can cut. The California State Athletic Commission has made their own rules, making sure there are studies showing how dangerous weight cutting is. This is not new. Right, like this kind of information has already been coming out for 5 years already. Stop. Like, I'm not giving the excuse at this point where fighters say like,
it's not an excuse. It's an explanation because, again, you're giving me all this information, but you're assuming that we are dealing with rational. Again,
I am
you
not.
have to
I am
assume that
not.
we're not dealing
I'm
with
not
rational
assuming we're
actors.
dealing with rational actors. I'm just saying it does not excuse it, even if they aren't rational. Of course, they're less rational because they're not able to view it from an objective point of view. However, the whole point of having coaches, managers, agents, etc., is that they are supposed to be able to make the rational decision for you.
But they won't. Anderson Silva just fought again last night.
Because MMA management is garbage. But that's
yes, you are correct about that. But again, like Anderson Silva just fought again last night. So there's
a difference. No, there's a difference.
No, but
people
are deluded.
There's a difference. Hold on a second. That's not a guy who is known for listening to his coaches or whatever it is. I don't believe Anderson.
No, what I'm saying is that there is a general systemic issue with just a complete commitment to unreality in MMA.
Guys, can you stop having this conversation? It's just gonna go in circles.
Okay, I'm right. Ben is wrong. Okay.
No,
both of you are wrong. I am more right.
Neil Magny is going to get murdered by Vicente.
You motherfucker! You motherfucker!
No main event.
How dare you?
This is honestly, this is to me.
How dare you play with my feelings like this?
I'm serious. This is going to be worse than Ponzinibbio.
Oh my god! I love him, man. I love Neil Magny, man.
It's going to be much worse.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be.
Like, it's going to be maybe 2 rounds before
Magny. What if he wins, though? What if he wins?
If he wins, I'm going to be really sad because Vicente Luque deserves better.
No, fuck him. Neil Magny is the best. I love him. I hope he wins.
What's your call on this, Bilal?
Neil Magny forever.
Yeah.
Are you guys really going to not pick Vicente Luque to win?
No. My head goes with Vicente, but my head goes with Vicente, but Magny always has my heart.
Yes, he's a good guy.
That's kind of good guy. That's kind of sweet. But
dude, as I said, you cannot expect to deal with rational actors. Therefore, I'm picking Neil Magny.
Aspen Ladd's going to beat Sijara Eubanks again, right?
Yeah, more than likely.
Wait, are we moving on? Are we moving on already? I thought we were still going to actually discuss it.
I mean, what's there to discuss? Vicente Luque is going to pick him up in the box.
Magny is gonna come out with a triple jab. That's one thing.
And Vicente Luque
and then
block him with an overhand right.
Yes.
Vicente Luque is gonna clock him with an overhand right and kick the shit out of his legs. That's what's gonna happen, right?
Yes, exactly. Maybe, but we have to make it no.
The difference. Here's the difference between Pons and what Luque is gonna do. Pons just fucking 1-2'd him from the outside and leg kicked him. Vicente Luque is going to be throwing deep combinations, and he's going to be hitting Magny in the body a lot. It's going to be worse.
He's just going to be like, oh man, he's the best example of American top team.
Vicente Luque is what
I know. He's a black Brazilian.
Even though he trains with Ernesto Hooft.
That's funny. Okay, Ladd's going to beat Eubanks. I don't really want to talk about that fight because I don't like Eubanks. But Ladd is legit, though. Aspen Ladd's legit. She's one of the better prospects in the division. So,
straight from Invicta, man. Invicta, she knows how to pick their girls.
Yep. She's got an extensive amateur record too. 8-1 and 7-0 as a so.
No, she's a little bit. She's been around.
Shoeface is making his triumphant return, and he's going to beat up Ian Heinisch. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
Charles Oliveira is having the trilogy nobody asked for with Nick Lentz.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to choke him again.
Yes, or get disqualified. But either way is good with me.
There's a lot on this card where it's like I'm excited for one of the fighters in the fight and not the fight itself. For example, Davey Ramos.
I want Charles Oliveira to win and say that he wants to put. No, I want Charles Oliveira to win with some insane shit and then be like, I want to be featherweight champion again.
No, I want.
Like you always used to do.
To say like I've given up on featherweights. I want to be bantamweight champion. I did a test cut and I made 134.8. So
no, he's like, fuck it. I want to save the flyweight division.
Oh my god, Davey Ramos. just like watching him fight. He's super athletic, and he's got BJJ that is just so pretty to watch.
No recollection of him, so
Go watch it. His jiu-jitsu is fucking slick.
Wait, is he that other jiu-jitsu ace at 155?
Yes.
I can't remember because there are a few of them.
Yes.
There are quite a few jiu-jitsu aces at 155. So I just need to
Question for Ben. For Ben.
Yep.
Does he use his jiu-jitsu or does he go full Sergio Moraes?
Nope. Jiu-jitsu all the way. Seriously.
Okay.
Like he's purely jiu-jitsu. He dropped to lightweight and is on a 3-0 run with 3 rear naked chokes.
I like that.
Yep.
Make your friends.
Yes, I remember him now. Like after the whole Khabib Conor thing, he came out and said that he has the style to out grapple Khabib, and then everyone made a big deal of it.
Yep, and he's also 32, so get cracking.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd still like to see people actually, grapple with Khabib.
Yeah.
Just because everyone is normally too scared, and the way the meta is set up is that really good grapplers don't come up that often.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, there's only like 2 bottom grapplers with Tony and Cowboy, and then Porter is a top position grappler, but the actual depth in I'm not sure. He has a very MMA specific game, so I'm not sure that the same depth is there as, Ramos or Leonardo Santos.
I do like watching Ramos. His back takes are so goddamn solid. So good. All right. Moving on. Megan Anderson is fighting Felicia Spencer.
Megan.
I like Megan.
I think I like Felicia, dude. Like she has a solid shot here. She's good for 145. She's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
and she throws first. She's an underrated grappler. Second, she has a funky kickboxing game. Like I think she comes from Taekwondo actually. So expect some weirdo.
Here's the thing. If she is really if she's able to out grapple Megan, I'm gonna have real problems with Megan.
What? Felicia Spencer is a legit grappler, though.
Yeah,
but can I ask?
Really to not be out grappled.
Can I ask one thing about the striking game, though? Because, like you mentioned, I think she comes from Taekwondo, but does she actually fight like that? Because I am now heart full of. Okay, I'm like up to my head in. I don't know. I don't know what the direct translation of heart full is, but it's like ass full of shit. The direct translation.
You don't want people to go, you're ring all over the place.
But like, no. But like, I am heart full of people coming out and be like, oh, I am a Muay Thai kickboxer. And then they look nothing like that at all. Like, nothing.
She doesn't look like too much like a Taekwondo fighter. Like, she's more like a kickboxer, but she looks decent out there. Like, for 145, I mean. She should give her, she could potentially beat her even. Like,
all right, we gotta move on. We don't have
okay.
and I want to talk about some more fights.
Sexism, but okay.
Michael Trezano is coming back. He's finally coming back after his win over Luis Pena. I like him. I've been waiting for it. So and he's fighting Grant Dawson. So I don't know Grant. I can't pretend I remember him, but he did beat another guy on the card.
I don't remember either of them.
Trezano's the guy who beat Violent Bob Ross. He just with actual kickboxing.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, the guy.
Violent Bob Ross is still at 145.
Well, yeah. So he dropped down after fighting Trezano.
Oh no! Why? He should have moved up.
Yeah. Desmond Green. I'm always happy to see him. Dude doesn't get his due as a good fighter. He's a really good neutralizer. And he just knocked out Ross Pearson.
I like Desmond Green a lot.
He's a really good neutralizer. And he's had a hard run. He fought Rustam Kalabelov, Michel Prazeres, and Sumo. Those are his 3 losses. Like, that's a really rough run. And he had Gleison Tebow victory in between those. So, I hope he beats his opponent, Charles Jourdain. And then we have the most middleweight fight in light heavyweight history. Patrick Cummins is going to fight Ed Herman.
Yeah.
For a battle of who's the slowest man at light heavyweight.
Yes.
And I am here for it because Patrick Cummins is going to probably beat Ed Herman.
How could you forget Sam Alvey?
No. Sam Alvey is faster than both of them. That's how
Sam
fucked
Alvey beat
I
Rashad
that's how
Evans, dude.
fucked up.
Patrick Cummins can't be that slow compared to Sam Alvey.
Dude.
He
Go
beat
watch-
Rashad
watch.
Evans.
I watched a few Patrick Cummins fight. He's extremely awkward and does not like getting hit in the face.
No.
But like, I don't remember him being slower than Sam Alvey. Okay.
He's slower than Sam Alvey.
Yeah, he is. Sam Alvey managed to somehow beat Rashad Evans. So, if I remember correctly, am I correct?
Yeah.
So that tells you that even though Rashad was old, Sam Alvey was fast enough. I'm just going to say that he was fast enough, so he cannot be slower than Patrick Cummins.
Yeah. Okay. We got Danny Roberts. He's just always fun. Like, I enjoy him. He's always gonna bring a fight, and he's fighting. So I'm gonna watch it.
Whatever happened to that guy last name Morono? What happened to him?
Alex? He just won his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. A very random question.
No, I know because I don't know these guys you're mentioning. So I just thought, what about Alex Morono?
I think he
Anyways,
just won his last fight. Yeah, he was actually on a 2-fight win streak. He just beat Zach Otto.
nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Alejandro. Like, I tend to watch the entire card as much as I can,
Yes.
but then I also tend to forget the names of the fighters who actually fight. So I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about? And then I watch him. I'm like, oh, this guy, I actually like him. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Then we got Zach Cummins. He just beat Trevor Smith in his return to middleweight, and now he's fighting Trevin Giles. Oh, I remember.
Wait, who is that Cummins? Why is
Zach
he?
Cummins is that like generic ass looking dude. I don't know.
He fights like a really. It's gonna sound disparaging, but like, yeah, generic mediocre wrestle boxer.
Yeah.
So like nothing really stands out, but he has the basics of the style all down.
Yep, and he's not bad. He's a terrible athlete though. He's fighting against Trevin Giles, who's on a 2-0 win streak in the UFC. He's 11-0. He's a prospect.
Wait, so there's two Cummins there. There's Patrick Cummins, and then there's Zach Cummins.
Cummings, yeah, Cummings, and then there's Cummins, Cummins. And finally, we got Julio Arce versus Julian Erosa.
Wait, one has a porn name?
All right,
okay,
no, you can Google this afterwards. G and one doesn't. That's it. All right, Julio Arce, Julian Erosa. Yeah, I don't know who to pick. I mean, I'm gonna pick Julio Arce, but
I'm going to pick Julio Arce. That's how you pronounce it. Arce, yes. You roll your R.
He's a good fighter. I mean, he just lost to Moraes, Shaman Moraes, who's a really good athlete and a good fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of decent. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pick him. I don't know.
He's not that athletic, but he's kind of decent.
His last name sounds Latino enough, so I'm gonna pick him because of tribalism.
Yep.
Well, you just need to know he was thrown to Shaman a bit early. Like, I think in a few years he'd have put up a better fight.
Yeah, but by that time,
Because if I remember, he's quite green.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's enough.
thank you so much for joining us. This was like an extensive episode. You know what I mean?
A lot of shit happened, man. Like last night, I'm going to take that MVP KO to my grave. I want that to be played in a highlight.
I loved it. That was amazing. Honestly, it was so good.
It's the most cartoony shit I've seen in years. Like literally well, no, because Rose just got knocked the fuck out with a slam, but that kind of like Looney Tunes bullshit that she just gets leg kicked straight across his body. And then he's like, I'm gonna get, and then everything goes black. I'm gonna.
Oh my God. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody who followed us on SoundCloud, just because I went on the SoundCloud and checked. and Shelly Wedgner. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but thanks for listening.
Thank you. Gracias.
Yeah, I saw that you you liked all of our episodes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And
whoever went back, by the way, and downloaded every single one of the episodes we posted on the direct download links, thank you.
You're amazing.
That is devotion to helping us out, and we appreciate the shit out of that.
Maybe you were drunk by then, but we'll still like you.
We love that. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone supporting us.
And I want to say also one thing to the person who wanted Alejandro to talk more often. Like, no, he's wrong. We need to tell him that he's wrong.
Yes.
No, shut up. I have a great accent.
I told you about it. You couldn't even respond to your only fan.
I have one fan.
You have one fan, and they wanted to say, like, I want to hear more of his song.
Yes, but I am so petty that
he wants to hear more. He or she wants to hear more of your sexy soul.
It's probably voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to hear my real accent.
Oh, I don't know if it was a she.
I
don't know if it was a she. Somebody.
Well, I don't know if any of you two were like paying attention to the internet, but I just want to say South Africans have the second sexiest accent in the world. So, you know, you're listening to the wrong person.
No, but you guys know I'm faking an accent here. You know what, guys? No, I'm faking an accent here. My real accent sounds so much better.
Oh my God, that's fake. All right. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us, and please share, subscribe, download, all that good stuff. Let us know, and we love you. And
be nice people, be assholes.
Hey, Daniel's crawling out.
Hey, oh, hi, Daniel.
All right, thank you so
much. I hope you changed Daniel's diaper all day for Essie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Mother's Day.
Later.
Hey,
later.
Different.